The acrid smell of burning asphalt jolted me awake at 3 a.m., mixing with the shrill scrape of metal against the pavement. Outside my window, floodlights blazed across my yard, blinding in the darkness. Karen, the self-appointed queen of our HOA, stood smugly at the curb, clipboard clutched like a weapon. She pointed at my wooden fence, declaring it illegal. Her voice cut through the night like nails on glass, calling city code enforcement and boasting that law would crush me. Neighbors peeked from blinds, whispering. My stomach turned, not from fear, but from fury. What would you do if someone tried erasing your home with lies? Karen thought she held power, but what she didn't know was that my brother wore a badge. Before this nightmare, my home was my sanctuary. I had worked double shifts for years, sacrificing vacations, missing birthdays, pouring sweat into every mortgage payment. My children grew up in this yard. Their laughter had soaked into the soil. My late father and I had built that fence by hand, each post carrying memories stronger than nails. Losing it wasn't about lumber, it was about legacy. Yet Karen, with her shrill arrogance, treated my history like trash. She filed her first complaint, demanding removal within 10 days, threatening escalating fines. The letter reeked of intimidation, cold ink pressed into every page. Fear turned to fire in my chest. When the HOA mailed their first bold notice, I knew the war for my home had begun. The harassment snowballed. Bright orange violation slips appeared like disease across my porch, plastered overnight with sticky tape that tore paint from the wood. A sour chemical smell lingered one morning, fertilizer deliberately spilled on my lawn, yellowing patches where my kids once played. Karen orchestrated whispers at neighborhood gatherings, painting me as reckless, non-compliant, a danger to property values. Even my mailbox rattled with anonymous threats, sharp paper edges cutting my fingers as I opened them. The constant buzzing of her voice, the shriek of HOA calls, the tap-tap of her shoes at my driveway, it all echoed until rage became my only companion. Each insult was gasoline poured onto the fire, but I stayed silent, gathering strength, because Karen had no idea what family stood behind me. My brother, the county sheriff, had always told me patience was power. I took his advice, quietly documenting everything. Every slip, every threat, every late-night sabotage, I photographed and filed. Neighbors began noticing Karen's vendetta, whispering support when she wasn't looking. Some handed me copies of her emails, exposing her lies about egale structures and community safety. I stacked the proof like bricks, forming a fortress of evidence. Meanwhile, my brother pulled property records confirming what I already knew. My fence was well within legal boundaries. Local reporters caught wind, sniffing out a scandal of HOA corruption. The air felt electric with change. What began as whispers now carried weight. The stage was set, and Karen's empire of intimidation was about to crack. Karen made her boldest move yet. One evening, under cover of dusk, HOA members convened an emergency meeting in my yard. Without legality, they marked my fence for demolition, red spray paint bleeding across would like open wounds. That night, the crunch of tires announced law enforcement's arrival. Karen smirked, arms folded, certain I would be hauled away. But when the cruiser door opened, out stepped my brother, his badge gleaming beneath the porch light. Karen's face drained pale. Cameras rolled as neighbors filmed the confrontation. My brother unrolled the documents, deeds, permits, violation of due process. The HOS illegal seizure attempt collapsed on the spot. Karen sputtered, cornered by her own arrogance. Justice was no longer a whisper. It was thundering at her doorstep. The fallout was swift. Karen's empire crumbled overnight, fines reversed, her fraudulent claims exposed, and her position on the HOA stripped away. She faced charges for harassment, misuse of funds, and trespass. Bankrupt, humiliated, she became a cautionary tale. Meanwhile, my fence stood tall, gleaming in the morning sun, a monument to resilience. Neighbors rallied, forming a new board focused on fairness, restoring community trust. Property values rose, laughter returned to the streets, and I used part of the settlement to build a community garden in my father's honor. As the sun set behind the fence he helped craft, my children played freely once again. Peace returned, but the memory lingers. Have you ever faced a Karen like this? Share your story, and don't forget to subscribe.